So from a BD seller, a cigarette seller, to a saint of non-duality. This is story of journey of Nisargata Maharaj. Nisargata Maharaj um, is a very unique story because every saint, and you also, do remember this, you cannot duplicate a chain reaction. You are different, your nature is different, your journey is different, and another person's journey is different. You cannot say, I want to have the same things that happened here in my life, so I'll also become enlightened like this. It doesn't work like this. The other day, we were telling in one of the Hindi sessions, the only path that is right is the path that removes your ego. That path can be Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Sansar Yoga. Any yoga in your home, your household, if you are being scolded, your ego is reduced. Any path, anywhere, if the ego is going down, it's the right path. If the ego is going, if not going down or increasing, it's the wrong path. That's it. That is as simple as it is. Either you are in sansar or you are in this so called sansaric spirituality. Either you are doing bhakti, tapasya, sadhana. If the ahankar, ego is going up, the path is wrong. Change the path. That's why there are endless ways to reach the self. There's endless ways to tell your mind you are not mind. So, one of the different ways is one journey we are going to cover today of Nisargata Maharaj. He was born in 1897 in Bombay. The day he was born is also Hanuman Jayanti, so very auspicious day. That's why he was also called Maruti. Those details we won't cover of any spiritual master. We will cover their journey from where they started into spirituality. In early life, in 1915, his father passed away. These things are a little bit connected because loss brings vairagya to you, to some people. So his father passed away, he moved, and then from there, he started, some of this, he started a clerk business, that he wanted to be a clerk in one of the companies, but then he opened his own retail shop selling BDs, homemade cigarettes. So he opened this shop of selling cigarettes from 1 to 8. He multiplied it from 1 to 8, and then he accomplished quite a lot. He had very ordinary childhood. He wasn't extraordinary. He was not exemplary in studies or proactive other things. He had an ordinary lifestyle, ordinary life, and ordinary childhood. But with this, why this is important for me to tell you is, there is no such thing as one special one, chosen one. Everybody is chosen. Everybody is the patra. Everybody is ready right now. It's just how much you can listen. The truth about yourself is the story. And when the time is right, you will. So he suffered quite a lot of loss, and when his father passed away, he started selling cigarettes, and from there, he opened business. But he also got married. He had 3 daughters, one son, just an ordinary businessman and a family man. And then, obviously, with so much success and these outer sansaric pleasures when you get, you also have inner inner unhappiness, which most of you also feel. That is why you're here, that we all feel empty on the inside. That emptiness is you feeling disconnected from yourself. That emptiness you feel, that even if you have the biggest luxury, you still feel something is missing. That something is your self recognition. There's nothing else, just self recognition. So he also had that. So through a friend, he met his master, his guru, Siddharameshwara Maharaj. So in 1933, at the age of 36, so early, he met his master. He was from the Navnath Sampradaya, Inchagiri branch. Now, his guru gave him, so this Navnath Sampradaya, a little bit background on this. They belong to one of those saints who used to go teach spirituality to households, Grahast ashram, like we are doing, teaching spirituality to Grahastis, that you also can seek this guidance. It is not just for people who wear these saintly clothes or who have no family. So, as their sadhak or shishya were family members, like family life, they didn't have time to go and seek advices and go to saints like this. So, saints used to go door to door and teach them. How lucky everybody is for whom they do this, how precious and good karmic uh, human beings they were. So in this sampradaya in Navnath, they used to go door to door and they used to teach spirituality to people. And if they find someone worthy, they make them the next person to go door to door and teach. This is how it worked. So they find someone worthy and then they start teaching them. Then when they start teaching them, the time is ready, they can start teaching others. This is how they made this whole process. So Nisargata also met his master like this. His guru gave him few things like a mantra, some teachings, but most importantly, he told him, "You are not what you take yourself to be. You are not what you take yourself to be." He had lot of shraddha. He talks about his guru and how he got devoted in some time. I will explain it to you. So Maruti, when understood this teachings from his spiritual master, initially he felt like there's a missing piece of puzzle that is now finally fitting into him. So he said, "My guru ordered me to attend to the sense I am." This is his basic teaching of I am, which is also similar to I'm relating it to Sakshi Marg because we are on the Sakshi Marg. So I am is actually identifying yourself as a seer. So they say I am is the door to enlightenment. First, you identify who you exactly are. So, what I am and what I am not. It's a bit complex, but I'll try to simplify it. So, my guru ordered me to attend to the sense I am and to give attention to nothing else. What does that mean? Nothing else? Whatever else he's feeling, whatever emotions, thoughts, whatever mind is telling, not to pay attention to it, only stay focused on I am. Ekagraman on one thing, one pointed inward mind. When you achieve that, then you leave that also. We'll come to that, how he reaches these different stages. So I just obeyed. I did not follow any particular course of breathing or meditation or study of scriptures. It is not required. You don't have to read any scriptures, meditation technique. You don't need to know Vedas. Actually, the one who do are more farther from spirituality, more farther from self realization than you can imagine. Because they already know so much, it is so difficult. First, they need to unlearn so much, they have to unlearn. You learned all the Vedas, Shastra, Puran, Bhagavad Gita, all you remember it. Now you learned it wrong. So that when Guru comes in your life, he needs to remove all of this first. He needs to make you unlearn whatever garbage we have put inside. Since we were born till now, the one who has learned so many things. Because even the Ved Puran, you are not learning rightly. You need a spiritual guide. In the beginning of the chapters, in the preface, it is written, these books are for Margdarshan only. To learn moksha, to get enlightened, please seek a living master. It is written in the preface. It's like terms and condition, asterisk. It's always there. We just don't see it. So I just obeyed. I did not follow any particular course of breathing, meditation, or study of scriptures. Whatever happened, I would turn away my attention from it. So he wasn't paying attention to anything mind is saying. This is exactly what I tell you. Do not feed your mind. He will say, I want this. I need answer to this. He will analyze. He will give you statistics. He wants to give you everything. He'll ask you, question you, make your belief system of spirituality wrong. Make you question me also. That, oh, does she even know? For me also, your mind will say negative things because I am its biggest enemy. I am your mind's biggest enemy. So, whatever happened, I just turned away my attention from it and remained with the sense of I am. It may look simple, even crude. My only reason for doing it was my because Guru told it to me, and yet it worked. He didn't know if this will work. This is how journey of a shishya begins. This is shishyatam. Please understand, my dear angels, when a shishya come into spirituality, he doesn't know the path. He may have heard many things. He doesn't know what is right, what is wrong. That is why you have to have faith, complete faith in your master that whatever they are telling me, it's true. Even though my mind thinks it's wrong, even though my mind thinks it's wrong, let's just try it. You know, with faith and surrender, you believe. And that is what the Maharaj did. Maharaji, he just did it. He said, I didn't know if this will work. I did it. My only reason for doing it is because my guru told me to. That's it. And that was enough. Many go to one master, but only few are enlightened. Why? You must understand this. Because only few give the right to the master. Even for me, all of you come, but how many of you give me 100% right to correct you whenever you're wrong? 99% people cannot even hear that they are wrong at X place or X point of time. They cannot hear it. They're not ready. They need someone to say, yes, you're right. Yes, you're doing good. You are nice. You're on the right path. So this is one of the most radical teachings of Advait when he say no techniques, no rituals, no scripture study, just I am. That was his technique. So he says, my guru told me, go back to the state of pure being, where I am is still in its purity before it got contaminated with I am, so I am this and I am that, which means the identities. Go back to the purest state. On top of the pure state, all the negative things you all have created. You were pure consciousness. What we did, we created on top, I am Prakriti. I am a teacher. I am a student. I know so and so things. I am father. I am mother. I have 5 children. So many eyes you create, so many identities created. So many identities we created on top of many things. Pure consciousness has no identity. It's state of nothingness. So go back to that state. His guru is saying, go back to that state where there is only purity. There is no other, I am this, I am that. It looks easier than it is. Your burden is of false identifications. And that is your burden also. Today, if I erase everything from your mind, right now you're stressed, right? You might be stressed, you're upset. My son went out, did this. I have a report to submit in office. My promotion is delayed. So a lot of stresses we have. I have to give this EMI, etc., etc. If I today erase all of your mind, would you have the same stress? Would you have the same identity crisis? Would you have the same bandhan that you feel right now? That I cannot go somewhere, I cannot do this? No, which means it's all in your head, correct? If it's all in your head, that means it can be fixed. It's that simple. If it's not in your head, if it's out of control, it cannot be fixed. But if it's in your head, you can fix it. Like we showcase the Dumbledore thing, removing thoughts from your mind. Go back to that image. So, my guru told me, you are burdened with false self identifications. Abandon them all. Leave all the wrong things, wrong identities you have created about yourself. And the list is big, it's not just few things. The biggest identity is your name and this body. This face, name, and body is your biggest identity. On top, you have million others. Million others. I'm a good chachi, I'm a good dadi, I'm a good this, I'm a good that, I'm good person, I'm bad person, I know this, I don't know this. There are so many things, so many identities you have. It's endless when you know. When That's why you need to seek that yourself. Trust me, I tell you, you are the divine. His guru is saying, trust me, I tell you, you are the divine. Take it as the absolute truth. Your joy is divine, your suffering is divine too. All comes from God. Remember it always. You are God. Your will alone is done. On the first day, you are told you are God. You are also God. All of you. You are God. That's end. The end. There's nothing else. Everything else you tell me after that is your mind talking. That's it. So I did believe him and soon realized how wonderfully true and accurate were his words. I did not condition my mind by thinking, I'm God, I'm wonderful, I'm beyond. See, he did not condition his mind. He did not keep repeating that I'm God, I'm God. That also is an identity he's creating, a false identification. I simply followed his instructions, which was to be focus on the pure being I am and stay in it. So soon after this, he learned all this from his master. 2.5, or I think almost 3 years, his guru passed away. He was quite attached to his master. Understand everything here. So he got quite attached to his master because he's the one. If someone takes your miseries away, you get attached to that person, right? So he also got attached to him. When he passed away, he became quite Vairagi. He renunciated things. He lost interest in worldly pursuits. That's when the Vairagya happened. See, still he is not self realized. He's still a sadhak. By the time his guru was there, he never initiated him also because he wasn't enlightened yet. He didn't realize himself completely. So his guru also didn't say that you are ready to start teaching people. He was just still a sadhak. And before that his guru passed away, which is completely fine. And then he left his body into the samadhi. During this time, so Maruti, he left Mumbai, he went out, and for I think 8 months or so, yeah, 8 months, he left his family and he went on whole tour of India. I'm sure he experienced a lot of things and he had shared his journey there a lot. When he came back, he said nothing is wrong anymore. Nothing was wrong. So 3 years after his guru, Nisargadatta attained realization and took the name Nisargadatta, meaning giver of the natural state. So after that, he realized this and he became Nisargadatta, means giver of the natural state. Now, what I always say is when the disciple is ready, master is on the door. When the disciple is truly ready, disi- I'm sorry, the guru disappears. So when the disciple is ready, master is on the door. And when the disciple is truly ready, master disappears. And this is what happens with all of the people. It doesn't mean it always have to happen like this. Also remember that everyone's journey is different. Do not compare. We need to understand why we are covering this is because he was a cigarette seller, a businessman, a shopkeeper, very ordinary person, and realizing the self. How? Just by understanding he is not this mind and body, which means you can also do it. He never left his family. I mean, for 8 months he went and he came back. He came back. And after that, when he come back, I think he had two other losses. He lost his wife and then he also lost his daughter. But he didn't leave anything again even after that. He was there, he was present, he didn't leave anything. This is right spirituality. He tells, I feel those losses and I absorb the grief. He didn't say, I am God, I don't feel anything. Please, very important. I absorb the grief as a witness. I felt the loss, I absorbed the grief as a witness. That doesn't mean he's not feeling the pain. Mind and all this is there. Still living in normal things, but you are just witness watching it, not changing the mind. We don't have to change it. Just don't feed it anymore. That's it. So even after all of this, he remained in the I am. He always used to teach these teachings. After this, he started became the teacher himself. Nobody had to initiate him now. See, when you become self-realized, nobody has to tell you that you have to start teaching. The purpose comes immediately. People start coming immediately. He used to have a small house, very ordinary place, and everybody used to come and sit on the floor itself and taking gyan from him. No big flowers, no nothing, no decorations, no all these big gurus do ashrams and stuff like that. He never had such a thing. It is how all enlightened. This is a secure man. If an insecure guru, those words don't go together. Nowadays in Kali Yuga, we have many gurus, so we don't know which one is true, which one is not. So you will see like this insecure guru, he would be like, I need this, I need 5 disciples touching me, showing this, showing that. The one who knows, he doesn't need anything. The one who wants, he will come, he will take it. Otherwise, no one will come. It's also okay. It's also okay. In this Kali Yuga, when gurus become, they want crowd, they want people to come here, they want people to listen to you. Unnecessary. Those who are secure, insecurity is the low emotion of the mind. It's fear. When you are self realized, there is no fear. You have no fear. So he also had no fear. lived in a small house. People used to come and worship him, listen to him. Unique way of teaching. He used to say, people used to ask him, what is, do you know, am I God or this? That's what his master told him. But he used to say, depends on who you call God. See, he used to question people, depends on who you call God. If you think God is something that in the images and all, that's not who you are. If you think you know God, then that's also you are not, because I am that which is infinite, that cannot be described, cannot be known. So if you call that as God, then yes, you are God. So he used to challenge people like this, but with compassion, always challenge with compassion. So when he became the teacher, of course, he had other things. One of the books of I Am That, I already explained a little bit. His core teaching, I'm just going to share a little bit here. His philosophy was pure Advait. On I, he said, he used to say, I am is a door to pure consciousness. First, you need to separate yourself from what you are not. What you are not is mind and body. According to Nisargadatta, he says, first you need to separate yourself from what you are not. Then you will see who you actually are. Which I always say, first Guru comes in your life and just removes the false things that you have. False insecurities, love, affection, attachments, desires, all of these are false things. An aura you have created around you for nothing, which you are not. These are penniless things. They are nothing but pennies in front of you, in front of who you truly are. So he explains, the life force and the mind are operating on their own accord. Pran and the mind, they're working on their own nature. But the mind will tempt you to believe that it is you. Pran are going, you're breathing on your own. Mind is working on its own. But this mind only will cheat you and tell you you are the doer. You are the one doing. Therefore, understand always that you are timeless, spaceless witness. And even if the mind tells you that you are the one who is acting, do not believe the mind. Do not believe the mind. But you all only believe your mind. You live by your mind. This is base. This is your life's base. You know, everything you do is from your mind. If I tell you the base is not there, what you will do? Tell me. Life is gone. Like completely. First, people cannot believe it. First stage, no one will believe it. Second stage, even if you're believing it now, what? Yeah. So next step. In third stage is, then I feel I have no astitva, I have no identity. If mind is not, then what is it? You know, I, this is what real saints do. Real Satpurush, Satguru comes in your life and shake your belief system. All your past life, this life, I don't know how many births you're coming. This was your belief system. I am this body, I am this mind. That's it. The base is there. On top of this base, you have this imaginary world. This huge imaginary world you have. You have kids, family members, this, that. You have so many things planned. So many imaginations, so many things you want to do. Travel the world, earn so much money, be a billionaire. So much is there that you want to achieve. But the base is this. So the saints come and say, the base only does not exist. Now what? Our whole life is shaken. So there are two types of people who believe this, who don't believe this. And don't believe it, the time has not come yet. Let them be. Don't. In yesterday's session, we discussed when Sri Krishna said, do not disturb who are deluded, who don't want to be understanding the truth. Don't disturb them. Don't disturb their life. So, for those who don't want to believe it, let them be. They still want to remain in this world. It's okay. We cannot force people. But for those whose life is shaken, now what? Now mind is thinking what next to hold. Now mind wants next identity. What I should pick next? This is completely gone. It's a very scary thing. Scary for this. You are much more powerful. You are the consciousness, the awareness in which mind appears. Imagine that powerful you are. So even if mind tells you you are the one who is acting, you are the doer, don't believe the mind. Don't believe it. The apparatus, mind and body which is functioning has come upon your original essence, but you are not the apparatus. Means the tools, this body and mind is a tool. Don't make them the owner. He had strong devotional zeal. He, he used to be in Bhakti Yoga most of the times with his guru because of the Samarpan Bhav and the moho he had, attachment for this master. It is when his master passed away was the Vairagya moment for him. Then he realized, that last thread is gone also. Last thread is also gone. But he always used to suggest different path for different visitors. Some for Bhakti Yoga, some for Gyan Yoga, for some for Mantra. This is what a true master knows, which mind is at which level. He doesn't say, okay, only do this. He tells different people different path. For this person you follow mantra, for this person you do this. Based on their patrata, based on their nature, he knows how much time for each person it will take. It is the surrender and faith and trust of the Shishya that matters here. He tailored his instructions to the needs and disposition of each visitor, emphasizing that Gyan is a difficult approach. He knows Gyan is very difficult because in Gyan you have to change yourself. It's so hard. You're managing so many things. You have family, office, kids, their problems, kids' problems, in-laws problems. So many things are happening in your life. On top, you have to put Gyan and change yourself. So hard. So hard change births and births of sanskars. Not everyone can do it. It takes a lot of time. So he also understood that, and he knew Gyan was difficult approach. So for some he gave mantra and for some he gave devotion, also to serve, to develop a faith in higher power and purity of the mind. Lastly, I think in the age of 1980, he got throat cancer and he passed away. This When he passed away, he said few words, and I want you to remember this. This is right spirituality. Many will say, I am God, I don't feel anything. They may be right. We cannot say anything. What other person feeling, we cannot say. But the right spirituality is, I feel the pain in the body. Nisargadatta, on his deathbed, saying this, I feel the pain in the body, but have no pain of dying. I do feel my body is paining. I feel it because I have throat cancer. I am passing away. My time is near. I am feeling the pain, but I have no pain of dying, that I am passing away. No pain, no fear. I am that which always exists and which is prior to manifestation. I existed before and I will exist afterwards also. These were his last words when he passed away. A normal saint, a normal man selling cigarettes, and he is telling non-duality to people. How does that happen? How many births he have spent in spirituality? What made his karma such a way that he was born like this, met his guru like this? Whenever you leave, wherever you live in past birth, Shri Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, wherever you live in past birth, your next birth starts from there. Education starts from there. So for some people, when they come to satsang and spiritual gatherings, they become so devoted all of a sudden, like completely changed. How does that happen? Because previous birth they did the same thing, and the same sanskar is carry forwarding. It's like memory is refreshed, you know, and always increases. In Gita, Krishna says, when they leave the self realization incomplete in one birth, in the next birth, they start from the same position and more devoted than before. More devoted. So every step is taking you closer. Even when you're following, even when you're falling, even when ahankar is going up, even when something wrong is happening, every step in this universe is taking you closer to yourself. Only identification with this mind is taking you farther away. That's all. So, an ordinary person, ordinary life, he is telling non duality, which means extraordinary. We don't know. It doesn't always have to be Raja, Maharaja, or this. Spirituality is for everyone, every being. Every person can know themselves because you are the self. At the end, he also says, you are not your body, but you are the consciousness in the body, because of which you have the awareness of I am. It is without words, just pure beingness, pure existence. Just you need to exist. When we'll cover Lao Tzu, he's also a very important saint in Chinese philosophy. So we'll cover him also. He also used to say, just exist. I teach you the same saints we talk about who taught pure consciousness, pure gyan, no alteration in the middle, no fake things. It has become soul of the world. In the absence of your consciousness, the world will not be experienced. Hence, you are the consciousness. Remember what you have heard. Meditate on it. Meditation means you have to hold consciousness by itself. The consciousness should not give attention to itself. So he's saying meditation also is wrong, because meditation means you are giving concentration to yourself, but that is also not required. You are the self. Why do you have to concentrate on it? It's the beginner stages. So the consciousness is Ishwar, and there is no God other than this consciousness. Worship it. Maya is God's power. All the names of God are of this consciousness. So he's saying any Bhagwan, God, Lord, all of them are same. There's no difference. There is no difference. Whoever you follow, in this mark, there's no religion, there is no path, there is no dharma, there is no, there's no particular teacher. All you have to do is know yourself, know your weaknesses. How weak are you? You need praise, you need love, you need respect, you need luxury, you need money. These are all weaknesses. If I give you 1 crore today, you will do anything for me. Do you know? That is your weak. I can buy you. I can buy you. If I keep praising you, you will do anything for me. I can buy all of you people. Don't be sold like this. You are the unified consciousness. I am that.